Have you ever stopped to think that 17 seconds can change everything? It sounds like an exaggeration, I know. After all, we live in a world where everyone wants shortcuts, but almost no one believes they actually work. And that's where the controversy lies. There's a mental hack so simple, it's almost counterintuitive. It doesn't require years of practice, doesn't need complicated mantras, and, best of all, it starts working the exact moment you try it. Most people spend their day reacting to life, without realizing their mind is on autopilot, repeating patterns that always attract more of the same. But what if there was a way to turn off this automatic mode and take control? I'm not talking about miraculous tricks. I'm talking about a quick exercise based on focus and intention that has been tested by thousands of people and left intriguing results along the way. What's most curious is that it was born from popular law of attraction teachings, but survives even when we leave the spiritual part aside. Because, deep down, we're talking about training the brain to emit clear and consistent signals. It's like learning to tune into a radio station without interference. Suddenly, everything becomes clearer and starts making sense. They say great changes begin with small steps, and sometimes with just a few seconds. The 17-second hack is like that secret shortcut that only those who pay attention discover. It's not about movie magic, but about understanding how the mind works when it receives a clear task. It's as if you gave an initial push to your brain and said, "Hey, this is what I want." And, curiously, 17 seconds is the minimum time for this gear to really start turning. Imagine the mind is like a match. If you strike it and pull away too quickly, nothing happens. But if you maintain the friction for enough time, the flame ignites. The 17-second hack is exactly this mental spark, capable of changing the course of a thought. It became known through law of attraction teachings, but goes far beyond that. It's also focus and intention training, where you begin to realize that your attention is like a magnifying glass for reality. Those who have already tested it know, it's not the duration that impresses, but the impact it can have. In just 17 seconds, you give a green light for your subconscious to start working in your favor. You don't need candles, mystical music, or a perfect setting. You just need genuine intention and presence in the moment. It's almost as if, by pressing play in your mind, a new soundtrack begins playing in the background of your life. And the beauty lies precisely in the simplicity. The 17-second hack is an invitation to experiment with something so easy it becomes intriguing. It's the type of practice you can do in the supermarket line or before going to sleep. What few realize is that, with consistency, this changes not only how you think, but also what you begin to attract. And it's at this point that things start to get really interesting. Some believe that numbers carry hidden meanings, and the 17-second hack is a curious example of this. It's not a number pulled out of thin air. There's a reason it became special in focus and manifestation practices. Spiritual studies and practitioner reports indicate that, from this point on, thought begins to emit a clearer signal, as if it gained substance and crossed through the fog of distractions. Before this, it's like talking on a phone with static. After, the line becomes clear. Think of the brain as a radio antenna. In the first seconds, you're still turning the dial, looking for the right frequency. At 17 seconds, you finally catch the clear signal. And from there, the universe, or your own deep mind, understands exactly the message being sent. It's like hitting send on an important email. Until that moment, the message is still just in drafts. And what's most curious is that it's not just about spiritual belief. There's cognitive logic behind it. Keeping a thought alive for 17 seconds requires active focus, and active focus reinforces neural networks connected to what you're thinking about. In simple terms, you're training your brain to recognize and prioritize that scenario as something important. It's like teaching a dog to fetch the ball. The more you repeat it, the more automatic it becomes. That's why 17 seconds isn't a magical number just because of mysticism, but because of mechanics. It's the time needed to light the spark and prepare the ground for the thought to gain strength. And when that strength begins to grow, well, then we enter territory where things stop being just theory and start becoming real experience. Before diving into the 17-second hack, there's a detail many people ignore. The internal scenario is as important as the external one. There's no point trying to light a candle in the middle of a windstorm. Likewise, you can't maintain a stable thought if your mind is agitated. Choosing a calm and comfortable place is like preparing the stage before the show. It's there that focus will shine without being overshadowed by background noise. Breathing is the first key to opening this mental door. Breathing deeply, releasing air slowly. It's almost as if you gave a silent command to your body. Relax, now it's time to create. This simple act reduces anxiety and slows down the whirlwind of thoughts. Those who have experienced it know that, in seconds, perception changes. Even the noise outside seems to dissolve when attention turns inward. Creating this mental portal is like tuning an instrument before playing. A musician doesn't start a performance without adjusting each string. Why would you do differently with your mind? By allowing yourself a few moments of preparation, the 17-second hack stops being just an exercise and transforms into an immersive experience. It's what separates a lukewarm result from a profound effect. And what's most fascinating is that, over time, this preparation becomes a personal ritual. It could be tea before starting, soft music, or even a special corner at home. When the brain recognizes these signals, it automatically enters the right mode. And it's precisely in this state that real magic begins to happen. In the 17-second hack, not just any thought will do, and that's where many people go wrong. Choosing something random is like putting the wrong address in GPS. You'll get somewhere, but maybe not where you wanted to go. The secret is directing the mind towards something specific and positive, something that brings a smile just by imagining it. It's the difference between saying, "I want to be happy," and visualizing that exact moment when you receive the news you've been waiting for months. The right thought has a special quality. It moves you from within. It could be a professional goal, a desired scene, or a feeling you want to experience. For example, imagining yourself traveling to your dream destination, feeling the wind on your face and the smell of the sea, is much more powerful than thinking, "I want to travel." The more details and emotion, the more fuel for your focus. It's like planting a seed. If you choose a healthy seed with potential, the chances of growing a strong tree are much higher. But if it's just any seed, growth will be weak or won't happen at all. In the 17-second hack, the thought is that seed, and emotion is the water that will nourish every second of the process. And when you get the choice right, something curious happens. Even before closing your eyes, you start to feel the vibration of what's to come. It's as if body and mind enter into sync, ready to give life to that vision. And it's at this moment that we're ready to dive fully into the technique. Now we reach the heart of the practice. The 17-second hack is simple in execution, but powerful in impact. Close your eyes and visualize your desire as if it were already real, without leaving gaps for doubts or distractions. It's like watching a movie where you're the protagonist, living exactly the scene you desire. These 17 seconds are the moment to dive completely into the experience. The key is keeping the image alive and rich in details. If it's a new car, imagine the steering wheel in your hands, the smell of the upholstery, the sound of the engine. If it's a relationship, feel the embrace, hear the laughter, notice the lightness of conversation. The more senses you involve, the more your mind will believe that it's already real. It's this momentary illusion that ignites the vibrational spark. During these seconds, time seems to slow down. There's no past, no future, only now, with you fully living the scene. It's almost as if reality around you becomes blurred, and only your internal vision remains sharp. This is the state where communication between thought and energy becomes clearest. And at the end of these 17 seconds, something subtle changes. Maybe it's relief, an involuntary smile, or that feeling of this is going to happen. It's like turning off a switch and feeling the light still shining. And from here, there's a secret to intensify even more the power of this moment. If the 17-second hack were a car, emotion would be the premium fuel that makes the engine roar louder. It's not enough to just visualize. You need to feel, as if every cell in your body were experiencing that reality. It's at this point that joy, gratitude, and enthusiasm become powerful amplifiers. Think of the difference between watching a movie with the sound muted and watching it with the perfect soundtrack. Emotion is that soundtrack, capable of transforming an image into something alive and captivating. And don't be mistaken, emotion isn't something you force. It's born from details that truly touch you. When imagining your desire, Look for elements that make your heart race. Maybe the smell of coffee you drink in your new house, the feeling of security seeing the bank balance you've always dreamed of, or the warmth of someone special's embrace. These small emotional triggers are like invisible strings pulling your vibration upward. The more genuine the emotion, the faster it sticks to the thought, creating a powerful association that the mind begins to recognize as familiar. It's almost like training a muscle. The first few times, it might seem difficult to maintain intense feeling for 17 seconds, but with practice, it arises naturally, even in random moments of the day. You might be in traffic and suddenly feel a peak of enthusiasm just by remembering that scene. And here's the magical part. When emotion and thought unite, they form a vibrational signal so strong that, metaphorically, it echoes beyond you. It's as if you sent a coded message, saying exactly what you want and feeling as if you'd already received it. And when this frequency is established, something begins to move behind the scenes of your reality. Maintaining focus for 17 seconds is already powerful, but something curious happens when you decide to extend the process. With each new 17-second block, the vibrational force doesn't just grow a little. It grows exponentially, like a snowball rolling downhill. At first, it's small, almost insignificant. But with each turn, it accumulates more snow, more weight, more speed. Until, suddenly, it becomes impossible to stop. This is how thoughts gain traction and begin to influence, in a real way, what you experience. The mind works similarly to a rocket. The first seconds of takeoff require more fuel, but after reaching a certain altitude, it continues advancing almost on its own. By maintaining a thought alive and vibrant for 34, 51, or even 68 seconds, you surpass the initial barrier and enter a phase where energy begins to move by inertia. It's at this stage that coincidences begin to appear, opportunities arise, and fortunate accidents become more frequent. This explains why so many people report that, after practicing the 17-second hack, they can't stop anymore. The body itself begins to ask for more, like a positive addiction. You might be washing dishes and, without realizing it, find yourself reliving that scene you so desire. And at that moment, you're feeding the snowball without even sitting down to do the formal exercise. And the best part is that, the more the snowball grows, the more it works for you. It's like planting a garden. At first, it requires daily watering and care, but there comes a time when the soil is so fertile that new seeds sprout on their own. It's at this stage that the 17-second hack begins to integrate into your life naturally, almost invisibly, but extremely powerfully. Every hack, no matter how incredible, depends on one thing to really transform your life: repetition. And the 17-second hack is no exception. Practicing it just once can bring a moment of inspiration, but it's regular use that creates lasting changes. When you do this exercise once or twice a day, it's like training a muscle. Mental strength grows, clarity increases, and your vibration becomes more stable, almost like a constant pulse sending signals to the universe. Think about learning to play guitar. On the first day, your fingers hurt, chords sound out of tune, and you wonder if you'll make it. But with daily practice, hands adapt, muscle memory strengthens, and when you realize it, you're playing songs that once seemed impossible. The 17-second hack works the same way. Repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity creates naturalness. And what's most interesting is that, over time, your mind begins to seek this state on its own. Even on the busiest days, a moment of silence can be enough for you to close your eyes and relive that scene. It's as if repetition had installed a shortcut in the brain, allowing you to access this vibration in seconds, without needing all the initial preparation. That's when the exercise stops being a conscious effort and becomes part of your way of thinking. With this consistency, the difference between exercise and life begins to disappear. You realize you're not just practicing a hack, but training your mind to live in a pattern of higher energy. And when this becomes a habit, that's when things begin to change much more intensely and quickly than you could imagine. No matter how simple the 17-second hack is, there are traps that can nullify or weaken its effect. The first mistake is trying to force a feeling you're not ready to feel. It's like smiling for a photo when you're bothered inside. The image comes out, but the energy doesn't convince. The mind perceives when emotion is fake, and this creates resistance, almost as if you were trying to push a car with the handbrake on. Another common slip is interrupting the visualization before completing 17 seconds. It seems like little time, but in the mental world it's like taking a cake out of the oven before it's done. It might smell good, but it'll collapse. The power of the hack comes precisely from maintaining focus for the necessary time for the thought to reach that vibrational boiling point. Stopping before is like turning off an airplane engine during takeoff. There's also the mistake of dispersion. Some people start visualization focused on one scene and, without realizing it, are thinking about the shopping list or the email they need to answer. The mind is skillful at escaping to automatic mode, and that's where the importance of training focus comes in. A good practical tip is to use a timer or count mentally to ensure you stay present throughout the entire process. And lastly, but not least importantly, avoid turning the hack into a heavy obligation. If each practice is accompanied by tension and pressure, the energy becomes contaminated. Remember, the 17-second hack is an invitation to create, not a school assignment. When you enter the process in a light and natural way, fluidity increases, and it's precisely in this lightness that the greatest transformations happen. With practice, the 17-second hack stops being just an exercise and begins transforming into an automatic mental habit. At first, you need to set aside a moment of the day, prepare the environment, and concentrate to maintain visualization. But over time, something changes. Your mind begins to seek that state of elevated vibration on its own, as if it had learned a new language and now naturally thought in it. It's at this point that subtle changes begin to become visible. You notice you're calmer, more optimistic, and things seem to flow with less effort. Situations that used to cause anxiety are now seen differently. It's as if your mental frequency had been recalibrated, attracting experiences aligned with what you'd been training. Small coincidences begin to multiply, and suddenly, they don't seem like coincidences. What's most interesting is that this integration doesn't require constant conscious effort. It's like learning to drive. At first, you think about every movement, clutch, gear, pedal. Later, your feet and hands move almost on their own, while your attention can open to other aspects of the journey. The 17-second hack, when it becomes part of your day, frees mental space for you to live with more presence and less worry. And it's precisely at this stage that you realize you're not just practicing something. You're living according to a new pattern. It's when theory becomes real and continuous practice. And from here, well, it's where many discover that what seemed like just a mental trick is, actually, a new way of building your own reality. Now that you know the 17-second hack, the question is, what are you going to do with this? Will you leave this incredible idea as just another curiosity you heard today, or will you put it into practice and see how far it can take you? The choice is simple, but the impact can be enormous. Remember, it's not about having time. It's about deciding to start, and starting now. Imagine if, a week from now, you were already feeling subtle changes in your mood, your opportunities, and even in how people react to you. This isn't distant theory. It's something that can happen if you set aside a few seconds of your day. But if you keep waiting for the right moment, you'll realize it never comes on its own. You're the one who creates that moment. So, tell me, what's the first scene you're going to put in your mind for 17 seconds today? What are you willing to feel as if it were already real? And, more importantly, what would it be like to live knowing you're training your mind to be your greatest ally? These are questions that can change the course of your life, if you allow yourself to answer with action. If this content made sense to you and you want to continue learning how to transform your mind into a magnet for the experiences you desire, subscribe to the channel now and activate notifications. This way, you won't miss any of the upcoming strategies that can accelerate your evolution. After all, every second counts, and your next 17 seconds can start now.